pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Turn the mic on. Turn the mic on. Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Bierstead,
Here.
Bjork,
Here.
Carroll, Downing, Morissette,
Here.
Odine,
Here.
Page.
Okay, we'll go right into public comments. If there's anybody in the audience has anything they'd like to say, now would be the time to come up. Okay, next we'll go, we're gonna have a presentation from Tanya Misalt, our library director. She'll give us a little presentation on the new capital campaign. Oh, Michael's here now too.
Hi, I'm Tanya Misselt. I'm the library director. Thank you for having me here tonight. Tonight's a big night for us because of the the construction company being assigned tonight, and also because we are going to be looking at how our capital campaign is set up and what our goals are. I want to start by thanking the mayor and the council and the city administration for their help and for being here tonight. I also want to thank some city staff who have been instrumental in making this happen. Amy White, Adam Martinson, Todd Nikolsky, Dan Murphy, and Sterling Hackney. I know this is not the Academy Awards, but I also have other people I want to thank because this has really been a team effort and I want everybody to understand that. I want to thank the Library Board of Trustees, the Library Foundation Board of Directors, the Capital Campaign Committee, our two campaign co-chairs, Tom Westerhouse and Steve Schrader, and also ISG and Baker Street Consulting. Okay, so what we have here is basically a $7.5 million library project. $4 million is covered by the Flexible Facilities Program grant that we have been awarded. We are trying to raise another $2.3 million in a capital campaign to complete facility renovation, and I'll talk about that tonight. And another $1.3 million in capital campaign for two strategic endowments. One is a $200,000 endowment for program and events, and the other one is $1 million for operational endowment. So first I want to talk about the facilities renovation projects and what will be remaining to be done after the Flexible Facilities $4 million grant is spent. So we're basically renovating the entire library building, but we haven't had any plan for the entryway tile or the entryway walls or replacing the lighting in the entryway. And it would be really nice to have that done too. We would like to upgrade the LED lighting, that's in the plan, but we could perhaps do it faster if we had the money. We need interior furniture. We have a lot of furniture that needs to be replaced because it's worn, or it's just so old and extremely heavy for staff to be moving around. And there's some stuff that can just be recovered. There are a lot of window shades and drapes that are falling apart, and it would be nice to replace those. We would like to do some landscaping and have some outdoor furniture with built-in solar charging stations. We'd like money for art installations, wall manipulatives for small children in the children's area, new security cameras, new PA speakers, in-wall audio speakers and microphones in select meeting rooms and program rooms, in-wall cameras in select meeting rooms and program rooms for virtual connectivity, assistive audio technology in the community room. Often we have people in the community room that even with all of our audio, they still can't hear. And so it would be nice to have their special technology, like it's a hearing loop, something similar to that, where they can get their hearing aid to tune in and it helps them hear. Inside, outside HVAC upgrades, possibly a parking lot resurfacing, and who knows, maybe a solar roof. We've been working on that for a while. So as far as the endowments goes, the program and events endowment, the foundation already has an endowment, but we want to put money back in there that was spent for the capital campaign that was about 150,000. But that is not technically called a program and events endowment, but that's what we use it for. And we get about $25,000 a year from the foundation for programs and events, and also technology that's used by the public. So we want to make sure that that endowment is healthy and continues to be healthy. It also pays for fund incentive prizes for public participation in library activity. None of that comes from taxpayer dollars. So we want to make sure that that fund continues to be a healthy one. Then we also want to start an operational endowment for $1 million, and I want to explain the thought process behind an operational endowment held by the foundation. The purpose would be to support additional staff and to develop and sustain new library strategic initiatives that are approved by the Library Board of Trustees and are in alignment with community needs and values. So whereas the program and events endowment was that I was just talking about, that's literally paying for presenters and technology for the public and incentive prizes. None of that is going to staff salaries. This would go to staff salaries. So what are those initiatives that we want to start? As all of you know, we have a art gallery in the lower level that has sat vacant for a little while. I have a concept for a much more sustainable art program, and I call it an artist in residence program. If you go online, you'll find a lot of libraries across the country have an artist in residence program, and later I'm going to talk about a naturalist in residence program that is also not unfamiliar lingo. Public libraries across the country are using this to describe a certain type of program. What you're doing is you're paying a staff person to coordinate artists to come and show their work. I'm going to keep going down here, but we want the artist in residence program, the naturalist in residence program, somebody to do technology support, teach artificial intelligence, and information literacy education, and also early childhood outreach for economically vulnerable families. So let me break that up a little bit. Again, as I said, I got a little ahead of myself. The artist in residence program is not something new. By the way, these pictures are created by artificial intelligence. They are not particularly insightful, except that they were just something to put out there to show and be colorful and build a little enthusiasm. But so what we do is we have like 4 different staff, each working about 15 hours a week on each one of these initiatives. And one of them would be the artist in residence program, and they have to develop a transparent and equitable application process for local artists to apply to be selected as an artist in residence for like 3 to 6 months. So there might be 2, 3, 4 artists in residence per year. They would also coordinate the space and promote the events and activities. So what does the artist get? The artist can display and sell their art. We would not take the cash at the library, but we would allow them to put a QR code or something up there by their art, and the public would be able to get a hold of them directly to possibly purchase art. But they also are creating a hands-on experience for community members, so they have to be able to we would pay them about a stipend, but they have to be able to provide something other than just showing their art. They have to be able to provide a program. So that would be what they do. We'd select artist in residence program, would select those artists in the community to come out and present their artwork. And it's a lot less expensive than having a full-time gallery coordinator. Similarly, the naturalist in residence program would be a 15-hour-a-week staff person who can collaborate with the UWRF and also perhaps our new Conservation and Parks Division, the Brooks Ostendorf, to bring some naturalist programs. So UWRF had asked for me to create a corridor on one side of the building that would show sustainable landscaping and what that looks like. And so we would create this corridor of sustainable landscaping, and we would offer programs in that area in the arena of natural life. It's not like the sustainability series. It is just purely for the purpose of sitting in nature, enjoying nature. There's a lot of educational opportunities, but a lot of mental health benefits from that too. So that would be one. The next one I'm going to skip here is the technology support, artificial intelligence, and information literacy education. So there's no way for me to emphasize enough the potential change that is going to happen to our world with artificial intelligence. We already saw that with the information revolution of the internet, and we are on the cusp of another revolution, and none of us can tell for sure what's going to look like in 10 years. It is daunting, and I do really believe that the public library has a role in that. Not only do we need to be able to provide technology support, for example, having people be able to come into the library and they may have a question about their own phone and they say, how do I get an app? How do I download an app? There are a lot of people out there who are using cell phones who really need help. So we need to be able to provide that. But we also need to be having short workshops on artificial intelligence to try to demystify some of the more reasonable applications or more common applications of artificial intelligence. The other big issue out there, information literacy education, it's a growing concern. Information literacy has been affecting our lives since the internet. People don't know how to discern fact from fiction. They don't know how to evaluate their sources. Now that we have AI coming on the forefront, think about how hard that's going to be to evaluate our sources when we can hardly tell what's real and what's not real. So we've got images that are going to be produced out there. How do we know which ones are real and how do we know which ones aren't? And these realities are very important for us to, as a community, try to wrap our heads around. So that's another position. The last one I want to mention is the early childhood outreach. Again, this would be 15 hours a week. And our effort would be to try to reach economically vulnerable families. And I know there are a lot of resources out there already for that. We're not trying to duplicate any of them. For example, we have county birth to 3 screening. We have the school district 4 to 5-year-old screening. We have Family Resource Center, WIC. And then we have doctors in our clinics who are doing Every Child Ready to Read visits with young patients. And that's not worth me explaining right now, but we as a library, we know how to raise readers. We know exactly how to raise readers, and public libraries are the one place prior to public education where anyone can come in and we can help build those skills. So there's something the American Library Association puts out. It's called Read, Write, Sing, Talk, Play. But basically, we all need to be aware of how we're raising children to be ready to read. We're not creating readers. We're not trying to send kids to school being able to read. We're trying to send kids to school prepared to learn how to read. They have to have the oral language and the depth of vocabulary to learn how to read. They have to have narrative skills to tell a story like, well, how was your day today? They need to have phonological awareness, which means they know the individual sounds or syllables in each word. They need to have letter knowledge and print awareness, which literally means that when you look at a book, there's just little codes on the bottom and that says something. And if they put their finger over it when their parents are reading, that it makes the parents stop. So there's all kinds of things the library can do to prepare families and kids so that they're ready to start school. The grant-funded portion of the remodel will start July 1st, 2025, and it will end September 30th, 2026. It would be after that we would move forward with any additional renovations that would be paid for by the capital campaign, because we all know that the priority is to spend the grant money that we have. And then just lastly, I want to make a note that we have some opportunities to learn more. We're doing some fun things during River Falls Days. We have on Thursday, July 10th, from 6 to 6:45, we have a presenter, Jane Hoffman, who just wrote a book called River Falls Public Library, The Legacy of Our Founding Mothers. It is such a cool book, and it should be published by then. And then from 7 to 8 o'clock at night, we're giving a tour of the renovation. All of the proceeds for Jane's book will go to the Library Foundation. Let me see. That's it. That's a wrap. Any questions? Did I talk fast enough?
I have one.
Okay.
I I appreciate the art and the naturalists section. When I was on the park board, we talked about possibly doing use the basement for a historical center
Yep.
to share more. And I know it's been very successful, the River Falls Histories exhibits that we've had down there. Is that, if you have the art and you have the naturalists, is that going to be a thing in the past that we won't have the opportunity to be sharing our history down there?
So I'm familiar with the study that the city did and the things that the community would like to have in terms of planning. And I do know that local history is really important. And I really do think that having the history display down there is very important. I would be very reluctant to have that come and go because it takes a lot to set it up. So no, I don't plan on that, but I can't promise for sure that that wouldn't happen. That would tear at my heartstrings too. So it would have to be a case-by-case decision.
But the art and the naturalist, that's come and go too, or is that'd be permanently down there?
No, the artists in residence, I see that more as having artwork displayed all over the library rather than just in the gallery. I think it gets more people see it, and I think it also allows us to use the gallery for other things. We might have, for example, if we have a artist that does clay work, well, we might have sloppy clay work going on in the gallery. We're going to have special flooring so that we can clean it up. We might actually have classes down there that have more to do with art than just display. So I'm hoping the whole library is involved. The naturalist in residence program would be primarily outdoors, but of course, when weather prohibits, we would have to have those things indoors.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, thanks. Okay, let's go on to the ordinance resolution. So resolution approving the bid and awarding the contracts for construction on the library remodel. And I'll take a motion on this.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, first and second, questions, comments?
None?
Anything?
Nope.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
first and second adjourned, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.